That Yeon Jung is still her usual self, casually talking with Jung Woo as always. He seems confused by her demeanor, but has to admit that she's persistent. Lee Jung Woo is sent a text to be careful of Hai Sung. It would seem the enemy is now on the move. Student teacher Jung Yim appears once more to meddle, going so far as to swipe Jung Woo's phone and read his messages. And this, for me, is crossing the line. Even if we were actually close, what the fuck are you doing? Even Yeon Jung Hyun can't hide his expression with this. This lady is getting a little too friendly with the student. And I say this as someone who has romanced Kawakami twice. She'll always be my baby. But this is different because I'm not involved. The real problem comes, however, when she reads the text Jung Woo has just received. Although the situation between them hasn't changed at the moment, Yeon Jung Im has memorized the number the text came from. And as Lee Jung Woo returns to class, all the students are looking at him. And Jung Hyun comes out and asks outright if Jung Woo is going out with the student teacher. But Jung Woo brushes it off, acting as if she isn't important. As Jung Woo goes about his school day, the reason for the warning about Hai Sung is made clear, as Busan decides to betray Yeon Jae-sik to side with Kun Chol and make use of Hai Sung's link to the Yakuza. Kim Jin-woo was called in for this mission specifically. He has inside knowledge of the Jae-sik group after all, and even more so, he loves this kind of activity. Kim Jin-woo doesn't just look like a snake. He is one as well. And I don't trust anyone with a snake face. That's why I don't trust Taylor Swift or Benedict Cumberbatch. After school, the boys walk along. Jung Woo plays a handheld video game while walking with Yeon Jung Hyun. Jung Hyun makes fun of Jung Woo for being bad at video games, like any of us would. Lee Jung Woo then asks Jung Hyun, "Wanna die?" To which Jung Hyun replies by mimicking death. Jung Woo asks what he's doing, and Jung Hyun says, "I need to obey whatever you say. You're Lee Jung Woo, no?" As he smiles at Lee Jung Woo, they continue walking. Just a few weeks ago, these two almost came to blows. Through fighting and expressions of honorable behavior as they attempt to become men, they managed to become friends. And now, Yeon Jung Hyun willingly gives up his life for Lee Jung Woo. As they walk along, Jung Woo's guard is down for what seems like the first time. But Yeon Jung Hyun notices, and Jung Hyun calls out to Jung Woo before he pushes him to the side. Jung Woo is surprised by this, and as he looks Jung Hyun in the face, Jung Hyun smiles at him, before being struck by a jeep so hard that he flies into the air. Jung Hyun is a big boy. That car would have to be moving at a speed that was meant to kill for him to fly into the air like that. As students gather around, we see Lee Jung Woo lose his composure completely. The bravado of a teenager goes out the window in a moment like this. His friend is down, and it's not looking good. Kim In Bum clears the crowd as he calls an ambulance, and Lee Jung Woo shouts to Jung Hyun in a panic. As this is happening, it dawns on Yeon Jae-sik that someone may come after Jung Woo, and he gives his right-hand man the order to put a couple of guards on him. But it's too late for that. Lee Jung Woo looks on as they try to hit Jung Hyun with the the chest paddles. Kim In Bum arrives at the hospital after Lee Jung Woo. They discuss what happened back at the school, and Kim In Bum doesn't cut any corners. He tells Lee Jung Woo that if someone is moving that fast, they had the intention to end a life. But Jung Woo doesn't seem to want to hear it. Maybe it would be too much for him right now. But then things take a turn for the worst, as the doctors stop trying to revive Yeon Jung Hyun. Lee Jung Woo reacts emotionally, asking why they're stopping, and they tell him to call Yeon Jung Hyun's guardian. The whole world seems to freeze around Jung Woo as he stands in shock, looking down at his friend. He loses his cool completely, shouting at Yeon Jung Hyun, telling him to get up, reminding him of his words from earlier to obey whatever Lee Jung Woo says. But That only works if he can hear you, Jung Woo. As Lee Jung Woo grows more and more upset, Kim Min Bum steps in to calm him down. You need to stay calm in times like these. Do you think Jung Hyun would like it if he saw you jumping mad like this? Lee Jung Woo is frozen in shock. He drops to his knees and vows revenge. Reaching for his phone, he plans to call together his high school allies. In Bum attempts to talk some sense into him, reminding him that he needs to report this to the chairman and get his approval before doing anything. But Lee Jung Woo ain't trying to hear that. That's his friend laying life is over there. And it was him they were trying to kill. The chairman is second. My loyalty to my friends is first. But that's not the world you entered, Lee Jung Woo. And though In Bum can remind him of that, no one can force Lee Jung Woo to do anything. And that includes Yoon Jae-sik. Jung Woo goes to does what Jung Woo do. As Jung Hyun's mother mourns him in a makeshift ceremony at the hospital. A quick Google search led me to this information, for those who didn't know, like myself. Korean hospitals very commonly hold funerals for accident victims, as well as those who pass away from illness. In South Korea, large general hospitals often operate their own funeral homes, serving as the primary location for wakes and funeral services, rather than using separate external funeral homes. Kim Bo-young meets Lee Jung Woo and Kim Min Bum at the hospital, and they move outside to talk. Jung Woo informs her of the situation and asks her to gather everyone. She agrees without question. And finally, Lee Jung Woo agrees to go see the chairman with Kim Min Bum. As they arrive at the office, Yoon Jae-sik is playing a game of Go with his main man, who throws the match. Because kissing ass is part of the game, I guess. As Jung Woo enters, the loser takes his exit, shooting Lee Jung Woo a dirty look as he leaves with his bitch ass. Lee Jung Woo approaches the boss and asks for permission to attack Hae Sung. Kim Min Bum informs Jae-sik of just what's been going on throughout the day. It's been almost 6 hours since Jung Hyun was struck and sent to the hospital. And here we see that Kim Min Bum was trying to give Lee Jung Woo proper guidance. Yoon Jae-sik feels like his authority and ego are being challenged when Jung Woo doesn't follow proper protocol within the gang structure. Lee Jung Woo is given a warning from Yoon Jae-sik. As it turns out, being in a gang isn't less annoying than being in school. It's just annoying in a different way. As Lee Jung Woo exits the room with Kim Min Bum, he crosses paths with Kim Jin Woo once again. Jin Woo just so happens to tell Jung Woo where and when he'll be able to find some people from Hae Sung on Saturday night. But this is just part of the nefarious plot from Kim Jin Woo, as he walks off with a devilish smile. Lee Jung Woo plans to gather everyone and attack Saturday, and Kim Min Bum once again reminds him that this isn't a good idea. They bicker as they walk along, and then Jung Woo stops when he notices that they're being followed. Jae-sik's right-hand man has sent some guys to follow after Lee Jung Woo. Kim Min Bum tries to tell him that they're guarding him, but Lee Jung Woo doesn't feel that's the case, and so he turns back to see what they want, as Kim Min Bum tries to talk Lee Jung Woo down. The guys who were following him take offense that Kim Min Bum seems to think that Lee Jung Woo will hurt them. That's when it's revealed that Kim Min Bum has been ordered to report to Jae-sik about what Jung Woo has been doing. This catches Jung Woo off guard, but Kim Min Bum tells him the truth of the matter, that he was told to report to the chairman about Lee Jung Woo's actions, and that he did as he was told. He reveals that Taehan was also ordered to report on him, which is the first time we've heard that Taehan actually has any contact with anyone above Jung Hyun. He's been absentee ever since Jung Woo took over. He also tells him that Jung Hyun refused. He was loyal through and through. It's not easy to find out this kind of thing. This angers Jung Woo. He feels like he's been played. Jung Woo grows more and more furious, and that's when he makes a move. He and In Bum were being flanked. with 2 guys coming from behind and 2 approaching from the opposite direction that they were originally walking. Jung Woo makes short work of these hardened criminals as he slips past an incoming punch and leaps off a nearby wall. He jumps past the first guy and attacks the fellow behind him with a knee to the face. Without missing a beat, he sways out of the way of an on-kick kick and springs forward into a leaping elbow. 2 down. The third man gets hit with a move I don't even know how to properly describe. Jung Woo is innovative on the fly. He stops a punch with his left leg and throws a kick with his right so hard he knocks the man sideways. But before he can fall or even stagger, Jung Woo is spun around into the 360, and he then plants a left heel right into the man's temple, knocking him out cold. The last guy runs in. He gets the signature spin kick, with the heel planted swiftly to his chin. But he isn't done. Jung Woo rears back his right and launches a punch into the man's face. Down for the count. Jung Woo looks back at In Bum. Lee Jung Woo, murder in his eyes. Min Bum with discomfort in his. He doesn't attack him though. He's upset with In Bum, but it doesn't seem like he feels In Bum has been dishonest with him here tonight. Min Bum tells Lee Jung Woo that what he's doing is mutiny and won't be forgiven. And Lee Jung Woo's reply? I have never asked for forgiveness from anyone. And with that, he walks off, as Min Bum looks on in silence. Things are a bit tense between the two at the moment. It's been a very hectic and emotion-filled day. Jung Woo then does something unexpected. He heads to Yeon Jung-in's place and requests to stay. He knows they'll be looking for him, but he doesn't want to give Jung-in too many details for her own sake. Meanwhile, when Min Bum reports what happened to the chairman, Kim Jin-woo is also there. He feeds Yeon Jae-sik a lie to goad him into a trap formed by Koon Chol and his boss from Busan. The trap revolves around the stolen nightclub that they fought for earlier. They're letting Jung Woo go in the meantime. But note that if he shows up to cause trouble on Saturday night, it's coitance. This makes Min Bum nervous. His loyalty to Jung Woo is real, but he was already a part of this organization when they met. It's conflicting. He can't just carelessly walk away from this, but Lee Jung Woo is a man who earned his respect and his loyalty simply by being a real friend and trusting him. They could still be enemies, but that young man, 2 years his junior, reached out to him, completed the task given, and put his trust in Min Bum at the end of it. But is that just childish? This organization is where his future lies.